As the COVID-19 pandemic continues, some forecasts about when economic growth will fully rebound are being rethought. Among them, it may be that the bounce back in auto sales may be pushed out slightly, but expectations are for a pretty healthy bounce back as pent-up savings are released into the market. That should be beneficial not just to the major players, but to their parts suppliers, Magna International, of course, being an obvious beneficiary. Incoming CEO Swamy Kotagiri is with us now. Swamy, thank you very much for being with us. Appreciate your time today. And I did want to start right there. As you land in the job here, there's still a lot of uncertainty about the pace of recovery. But what's your overall expectation from what you hear from your biggest clients, the OEMs, about what they see in the next quarter or two?
Good afternoon, Amanda, and to start off, a Happy New Year. As you all know, the first half of 2020 was a challenge, to say the least. But as we saw in the industry, the second half came out really good, positive, and if we continue that direction, and that's what it looks like going forward into 21. If you look at the volumes pre-COVID, that was in 2019, to what we are looking right now, every time there is a forecast, the numbers seem to be slowly getting better. And that's the hope. And if that continues, I think we're all set to do really well.
And just in terms of what you're seeing on the vaccine deployment front, how are you planning around that? It's slower than some had hoped. Obviously, you've got workers who remain in environments where it's pretty important to keep COVID out of the mix. What's your thought about how well we're doing on that front?
As we went through the COVID challenge, the primary objective was the health and welfare of the employees, and I'm glad to say that we did really a good job. The management, the employees, all really came together to address the issue and the challenges that we had, and we'll continue doing that, and that still stays the focus, which is the employees' health and safety. But we also went through a lot of discretionary spending cuts. We looked at how we can restructure appropriately in terms of spending. Where do you pull back? What are some of the essential things in the business that need to continue for the longevity of the business? Looking forward, the second half, like I said, seems to be coming out, ending up pretty well. Looking forward, I think we just need to continue and be flexible to see how the volumes come. This is not the first time it has happened. In 2008, 2009, it was a different type of an issue, but the industry still met the challenge and we came back. Hopefully the ramp up is going to be better and faster this time. That's what we're all hoping for.
You have also taken this period as an opportunity to push deeper into electric. And I want to you've done several things, but let's start with the joint venture with LG and what it represents to you, how important that is in terms of Magna's future.
Yeah, I think the electrification strategy has been going on for a long time. It is a very deliberate strategy that we at Magna have been following, Amanda. We always looked at addressing electrification in a very modular and scalable approach so that we can vary based on demand and how the take rates and how electrification comes. And as we looked at this scalable approach, we were looking at strengthening the value chain. If you look at the e-machines and the inverters, we felt by adding that to the core strength, we could take better advantage of the fast-growing market. And we are really excited to have LG as our partner to address that piece, which is the e-machine and the inverter. And with the Magna system knowledge and integration knowledge, we are really looking forward to take advantage of the growing market in electrification.
You just yesterday announced another agreement with Fisker on the electric side. Would you expect to be agnostic in terms of where and how you partner as you have been pre-electric, or at some point will people want to lock you up for certain types of technology?
Amanda, you know Magna very well. We've been in the business for 60 years. I always said Magna is like a 60-year-old startup, always agile, always reacting to the market. The Fisker was an opportunity for us to show Magna's depth in the various systems, but not only that, as we talk about full vehicle manufacturing and engineering, we are now talking about ADAS platforms and e-drive and call it the powertrain platforms also being included in the content. So I think we'll continue to look at that. Look, the industry is going through a transformational phase since its inception, and we have a chance to put our thumbprint on it. So I don't think there'll be as much exclusivity discussed here. I think there is many customers who are talking to us, whether it be traditional or newcomers, and we're really excited about the opportunities that are ahead of us.
We heard from Apple that it may push into the electric car market. Is that a place that Magna would expect to have a partnership as well?
Can't comment specifically on speculation rumors, but like I said before, if somebody asks me the question, is Magna willing to, and does Magna have the capability, then the answer to those questions would be a definite yes.
Obviously, as CEO, a lot of your own performance is going to be predicated on things beyond your control. The pace of the pandemic has got to be front and center. What's your current thinking on the outlook? Are you feeling optimistic about 2021?
Coming out of the second half of 2020, I would say, the indications are pretty optimistic. Like in any other business or any part of life, you can never let complacency set in. So we're agile and we continue to look at it, but I'm looking at the forecasts and looking at the releases and what the industry is talking about today. I'm pretty optimistic, but with that said, we still have to see how this COVID, what challenges we have left and when it's finally behind us. And we're all hoping that's in the next months, maybe in the next 5 to 6 months.
We are hoping, is there a kind of a scenario plan where you're looking at your cash management and worrying that it goes on longer?
We have talked about it, Amanda, when we first started in the April of last year. That is definitely one of the things that we always look at, different scenario analysis as we go through it. Fortunately, we have a strong balance sheet. We've been able to manage through the crisis, and we continue to have good liquidity, strong balance sheet. And we will continue monitoring this as we go forward.
One other thing that distinguishes Magna, of course, is its global footprint. How might that change? As you look ahead, are there some regions you'll pull back from and some regions you'll double down in?
Not as much. I think we are always looking at it from the perspective of a regional footprint. We have the right capabilities to support the customers. We are looking at new trends, whether it be electrification or new mobility as a service. And that's different in different regions, just like emission regulations are different in different regions. So we are always balancing that to see where is the appropriate investment to be put in long term so that we can have the appropriate returns. We all know in this industry, it's not a sprint, it's always a marathon.
All right, we'll leave it there, Swamy. It's great to have you with us. Swamy Kotagiri is the CEO of Magna.